What's up, fight fans? It's Daniel of Dan's Boxing, and I am back from a very long layoff. So Inoue Cardenas is finally finished, and unlike what many have expected, this was not an easy victory for Inoue. Inoue went through trouble, but how do you say this? There was another term for it, but I'm just saying he got dropped, and he found his way to win a fight which he could have lost. Inoue has this fight proved that he is indeed a freak of nature of boxing, and he belongs up there with the likes of Manny Pacquiao, Mike Tyson, George Foreman, and Muhammad Ali, with his spectacular performance last night. He did show vulnerability. He did show that he's not as invincible as he used to be. But then Cardenas came and gave him one hell of a fight. And even though he was heavily outmatched, it just goes to show the Texas heart in him, man. The Texas heart, the Texas pride. These and not only the Mexican American pride. These fighters, they don't come in to fuck around. He did show that he came in to win. I think he did the best he could given his experience versus Inoue's experience. This is his first 12-rounder. And Inoue is a very experienced, undisputed world champion. Personally, from the outside, I believe he could have done a lot more. Like, after the knockdown, he should have stayed on Inoue. But, when you're in that ring, there's only so much that you can do. And I think Cardenas did enough to, earn a world title shot sometime in the future. And Inoue is very great fighter. And but contrary to what I and many others felt after he beat Stephen Fulton, I don't think him and Tank Davis at 135 or even 130 pounds is realistic. I don't even think him moving up to 130 in the near future is realistic. Based on what I saw last night, I really believe that Nakatani is gonna be the favorite. Not on the betting odds, but in my mind, coming into that fight, it's a very dangerous fight for Inoue. And if he pursues that fight, within the next year, I think that's a very dangerous fight. I think that he could suffer the same fate as Jason Maloney if he decides to pursue a fight with Junto Nakatani. The way he went down was not. That was the worst he's been dropped. It was worse than when he got dropped against Luis Neri. With Luis Neri, it was a shock knockdown. This is bad. This is a bad knockdown, and this was very similar to the same punch that Nakatani landed on Andrew Maloney, when he knocked him out cold. So, but they gotta do what they gotta do for the Japanese boxing fans, for fans around the world. And I think this is a good step in that direction. I think it would have, but I really don't think it's gonna be a good fight. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a one-sided beatdown in favor of Junto Nakatani. The same way Navarrete Valdez was a one-sided beatdown, for Emmanuel Navarrete. But we'll see. This could be a fight that will happen or this could go rematch or trilogy. Hopefully, Inoue will be more disciplined against Nakatani to not get caught. But I just think Nakatani is much faster than Inoue. The only thing Inoue has over Nakatani is experience. But I believe that Nakatani has the power, the speed, the reach, and the youth over Inoue. It's gonna be, in my personal opinion, it's gonna be the Navarrete Valdez of Japan boxing, where everyone thinks it's gonna be an all-out Mexican war, Well, unfortunately, it was just a one-sided beatdown. Now, contrary to popular belief, I don't think the first fight was Navarrete Valdez was a one-sided beatdown, but it was enough. It was how do you say this? It was evident who won that fight. It wasn't when I watched it live. Yeah, I didn't know who won at first, but you know, if you were watching the replay, yeah, Navarrete did enough to really win a shutout. And I think it's gonna be the same way with Nakatani versus Inoue. But I think Inoue is gonna with Inoue's age now and his pride, he's gonna take more risk than Valdez did against Navarrete. And it's at this point he doesn't care whether he gets knocked out. And I think it's gonna be the same with Junto Nakatani. He's not gonna care whether he gets knocked out or not. He's gonna go for the kill, just like Inoue will, and that's what is gonna make that fight so dangerously great. But based on what I saw with Inoue when he fought Ramon Cardenas, if this Inoue shows up, I think he's gonna get knocked out cold. And it will most likely be the case because Naoya Inoue is 32 years old. And Junto Nakatani is 27. And looking at that fight, looking at everything, to tell you the truth, I think Nakatani is the only one, aside from a disciplined John Real Casimiro, that can be Inoue. There are many guys that will give Inoue a hard time, give Inoue a run for his money, but they will not have what it takes to pull the trigger and actually beat Inoue. People say Nick Ball, but I think Nick Ball for me would be another Ramon Cardenas. Rafael Espinosa, that'll be a really tough fight. I think he could beat him too, but given that he gets hit too much, it's a it's a fight that Inoue could win. But I'm starting to believe that most likely the featherweight division will be Naoya Inoue's ceiling, given his age. However, Junto Nakatani, with his youth and everything, I think that guy can go all the way up to, with his youth and height, can go all the way to 135 pounds, maybe even 140, cutting it close.